What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Little bit of a change of scenery today. I'm out for a training run on the trails and I thought I'll bring everybody along, show you guys what I'm up to and what a training run looks like. It seems like the place that I'm going to is close to a pretty popular spot around where I stay, and you know, there's so many people that end up here, especially during the season, that sometimes there's little bit of a general public safety risk, and the cops tend to shut the place off. But we'll see what we can do. We'll see how much we can go, how far we can go, and yeah, I'm pretty much going to try to avoid the main area because that's not where I'm going to anyway. I'm supposed to take a trail very close to the main area and then follow this vertical trail up to the mountains. So I'm out here in the farmlands right now. I'm going to cover this bit of patch and then make my way up to the mountains. Let's see what we can do. People look a little sus around here. I've been asked where I'm going already a couple of times, but you know, there's nothing we can't do with a little bit of kindness, little bit of trying to understand where they are coming from, and you know, it works out, usually works out. We'll see. Worst case scenario, I'll just make a run for it. I don't see anybody catching me. So yeah, alright, I'm going to flip the camera around, show you guys where I'm at right now, and should be a fun run. Already 2 kilometers into the run, 15-16 minutes, and try to make my way with a little bit of uncertainty if I can actually do this or not, just because there's this security and barricading issue around here. So yeah, let's go. Alright, so I'm through my first river crossing, came through there, slowly making my way into the farms. This is the place that leads to the main area, Hanumankhada. That's where all the security and all the clueless people are, just trying to have a good time and kind of ruining it for everybody. But that's what we're going to avoid. We're instead going to take a trail up through this hill, make my way through the mountain there, dip into the valley there, do another peak, and head back into the mountains, the mountain jungle there. Oh, what I have to figure out right now is how to get up this area, because if I go through there, I'm probably going to get noticed and probably stopped before the fun starts. So let's see if we can climb this. Right, I've made my way through the farms, get over this wall now, start climbing that peak. This seems like it's a private property, but there's a lot of people that come out here to have fun anyway, so I don't really know what the norms and things are. I'm just trying to do the best that I can. So yeah, probably not a good idea if you're coming out here in a big group of people and creating a nuisance for everybody, getting noticed and all that. But I'm also very sure that if you mean well and are not necessarily here to disrupt public peace or anything like that, then I'm sure you can train, right? Well, what's wrong with training? Alright, let's I'm gonna try to get over this thing now. What's happening, guys? So climbed a fair bit. I've been at it for a minute now. This is the view behind me, headed somewhere around there, and kind of lost the trail for a bit, not the path that I took. So I came here a couple of days ago with a few friends, and we were initially heading to the place that I'm heading to right now, but that turned out to be a really grueling trek, so we really didn't go forward with it. And I'm sort of doing the same way today, and I lost the trail. I couldn't find the trail that we took that day, so I had to kind of make my way through a lot of fair bit of forest, fair bit of bushes and whatnot. But I seem to have arrived at the same spot. Now I'm going to go up this peak. So there's a peak there, and then there's a trail that heads into the peak where I'm supposed to go, the peak that I'm supposed to take. So we've done like 3.5 kilometers right now. It's been 30 minutes. Good pace, if I'm being honest, given that I've already done like 300 feet of climbing. and feeling good right now, feeling great. You know, it's one thing to document those things and write about those things after the fact, but it's a completely different experience if I can just, you know, freely speak my mind as I am experiencing it right there and then, right here and now. Used to be really camera shy, and of course, you know, everybody is. You do not really learn the skill of having no filter in between what you're thinking, what you're saying, and how you're doing it in front of a camera or on a camera. But I seem to have crossed that barrier as of now. This comes pretty easy to me. So yeah, so now I can freely talk about what's going through my head as I'm on these runs. You have epiphanies, you have lots of problem solving happening, because trail running in general, and kind of doing anything that you know that happens over a long duration of time, things always go wrong. I heard someone say that it might be a little, you know, might be reaching for it a little bit, but I heard someone say that trail running, especially ultra distances, is a lot like going out on a space mission. You prepare for 100 things, you prepare to do 100 things correctly, 98 of them end up going wrong, then you have to figure your way out. That's why these things tend to have such a high ratio of people not being able to finish them. I've had that experience myself a couple of times. Alright, so yeah, I'll keep checking in every once in a while. The view is really good. If you can see behind me, there's just mountain ranges everywhere. This is the peak that I'm going up. That's what is behind me, just endless. What I feel is the Sahyadri ranges, I don't know. The Western Ghats, not sure. But yeah, this place is literally like a couple of kilometers away from where I stay. So I'm blessed in that way. Absolutely blessed. Alright, I'll keep checking in after I'm also running short on time. I've set up a few protocols for myself. If I do not reach the source of the waterfall where I'm, you know, where I'm supposed to head today, and if I don't make it within a certain amount of time, I've set a point of no return for myself, and as soon as that time arrives, I'm going to turn around no matter where I am. With these things, since the environment is so dynamic, what the nature of what you're doing is so dynamic, you kind of have to set protocols. You cannot be you know, eyeballing stuff here and doing things on a whim. And again, that's an experience that you just learn as and when things happen, as and when you accumulate these experiences. And yeah, so alright, I'll get going. I'm going to turn the camera around the next time and show you guys where I'm at. This is a beautiful place, and let me also show you what's going on here. I made my way through the trails there, and I'm supposed to go up this trail, but check this out. So this is in the middle of the mountains, and there's literally in the middle of the mountains, middle of nowhere, and there's literally, that place is the size of a village. There's actually a village right beside it, which is like the original Kharghar Gaon. And this construction site is literally 2 times the size of the village, and there's a whole lot of construction going on there. People are literally, you know, tearing that mountain apart, and there's supposed to be a highway that connects Nerul to, I don't know, probably to Taloja somewhere there. These are a couple of towns that these guys are trying to connect. Whole lot of properties are going to come into this place, and probably, you know, in the next 20 years we might not have this. What's happening, guys? I've just jacked up on adrenaline right now. But yeah, so I've made my way to the mountain top, to the top of the plateau rather, not the mountain top, and most of the climbing is done. That's where I'm headed. That's the waterfall. That looks like it's right behind me, but there's actually a valley right there. So I can't go through this place directly. What I have to do is that I have to make my way around this valley, then to the waterfall right there. It's been 4 kilometers, 200 meters or 600 feet of climbing, and I'm feeling great. Alright, quick check-in. I made my way through a fair bit of forest just now, and it was honestly a little scary. And this makes me think, realistically, what are some of the things that can go wrong when you're out in a place like this? Like there's always the wildlife question. So okay, So what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to get down this cliff right now and then make my way somewhere around there. I can't really show it in reverse, but yeah, what are some of the things that can realistically go wrong when you're in a place like this? I mean, there's always, like, it's just wishful thinking that you will not come across a snake somewhere, right? And especially in some of these patches where you just have to make your way through the forest. There's really no trail. You have to orienteer your way through the forest, and you're completely covered by bushes and trees and whatnot. The chances that you are going to have a snake encounter or some sort of a wildlife animal crossing your way is pretty damn high. And that makes me think that I probably should get in touch with like a wildlife specialist or like a zoologist or a snake specialist or something like that, and talk to them about this, talk to them about protocols. But when you're out in a place like this, when you're out in the wildlife, what you need is a set of protocols, right? For every single thing, for encountering wildlife, for having snake encounters, for what do you do if you fall, what do you do if you get hurt, what do you do if you get lost, and things like that. What do you do if you feel hungry? So runners usually have protocols for things like what you're supposed to eat, how you're supposed to tackle your nutrition, what you're supposed to do if you get cramps. But the conversation about what do you do if you have risky wildlife encounters, snake encounters, and depending on the place you might even encounter large wildlife, right? Like this is a place where I often see bulls and oxen and whatnot, right? So what do you do? And I remember being in a very tricky situation with an oxen a while ago with a couple of my friends. So, and that was pretty scary because we did not really have an idea as to what we were supposed to do. So I'm going to get hold of a wildlife specialist and talk to the guy, and make like a video out of it for everybody. Because usually what I've noticed is that runners never really think about things like this, right? It's just wishful thinking. It's just hoping for the best. But if we have a set of protocols, we will not be left with we already have so many things to worry about when you're out on trails for so many hours, right? And the thing is that as the hours carry on, as the fatigue takes over, as the cortisol and the stress in your body rises, you sort of the rational thinking part of your brain sort of shuts off, and you don't really think about things as much. Alright, so I'm making my way through the farms here. The waterfall is somewhere on the left, and I cannot really hear it anymore, but I seem to be pretty close. There was a stream of water that I could have followed and gone straight to the falls, but I also want to make sure that I'm close to the path that I have to take to head home. This dog. Alright guys, so close yet so far. And funny, I was just talking about protocols when I almost ran into a pack of wild dogs. And even if they were like farm dogs, there was a whole pack of dogs, and I was so damn close to the waterfall, as you guys saw. And I was actually hopeful about seeing a couple of people there, like the farm people, but they just happened to have a pack of dogs with them, dogs that seemed feral, and that seemed like they will definitely bite me if I go close to them. And to top it off, I could also hear people screaming. And call it paranoia, but it seemed like the dogs were chasing or attacking people that were probably already down at the waterfall, because those screams, they felt like they were coming from people that were being attacked. That did not feel like screams of people trying to call their dogs back or something like that. And what I see is that as soon as I turn around, there's a dog right there waiting for me on the trail where I came from, and that fucking guy is probably still watching me from somewhere, because I'm still pretty close to that area. But I have a Snickers in my hand just by chance. I'm not really afraid of dogs, and I don't really give off that energy, but it's just protocols. You always have to be safe. So I'm not trying to get killed or get bitten by a pack of wild mountain dogs today, right? I know the way. I seem to have a pretty good idea of where to go, and I almost got to the point. I was just a few, I would say like 100 meters right to the waterfall, and that's where I had this encounter. So I'm heading back now. I definitely can't go make my way through those dogs and go to the farm there, because I'm not going to take my chances with, you know, who knows how accustomed those dogs are to meeting people and stuff like that. So I'm just having the Snickers right now, making my way back where I came from. I still have making decent time, and I'm going to do the next check-in when I clear this foresty part of the trails, because that's kind of what is problematic right now. Alright, we're back on safe grounds, making my way back home. So I'm making my way down this hill. I'm going to hit the farms pretty soon. As you can see the city right there. Now all we have to do is just steer clear of any cops that might be here, any you know, the owners of this particular farmland that probably might not want to see unwanted visitors on their property, which is definitely a wrong thing, right? You do not want to be disturbing public peace. But I did not plan on coming back down here. I planned on making my way home from the other end. But like I said, a few hundred meters away from the water body source, and what was also the direction that I wanted to take to get home, I encountered a pack of feral dogs, and I was not trying to get bit by a pack of feral dogs today. So protocols, always follow protocols. Do not compensate later on, plan ahead of time. And if you're heading out on the trails, you have to make sure that you know, your ego stays back home. When you put on the shoes, you drop the ego. So I'm going to make my way home because I'm getting late, and that's all I had for you guys today. Run for today is done. I've done about 8 kilometers till now. Had quite an adventure, and my home is about 2.5 kilometers away from here, so I'm just going to run the rest of the way. And it was great interacting with you guys, and I'll, you know, talk to you guys later on. Thanks for watching.